They adjusted over time going up. They didn't really adjust over time going down. Good day, folks. My name is Ed Hooks Jr. I am working today on appealing the most recent assessed valuation for my property in Castle Rock, Colorado. I have been sharing with folks that based on the mad run-ups from 2020-21 that we were going to expect to have increased taxes because Colorado uses it's a capital gains on an unsold asset to reevaluate us every 2 years. So here we are, 2 years later. I'm telling everybody for the last year for sure that we need to expect a 25% increase in our tax burden, and we should be escrowing for that because it was coming. Well, here it is. First thing that we're going to do, step one, is we're going to find relevant neighbors. And the way I'm going to find relevant neighbors is I'm going to go to the Assessor's site, douglas.co.us/assessor in my case here. And there's a handy property search widget on the main page. I'm going to start typing my address, 3676 Buffalo, and I'm going to get, boom, my name pops up for my property. So when I get here, I'm going to take my property. I'm going to see, oh, wow, my actual value is already now $690,000. In the last cycle, it was $440,000. And, I was just, I didn't have time. I was too busy. I wasn't in pain enough. I did not even check to see how close that value was to reality at the time. But this one got my attention. I went from 440 to 690 in a 2-year cycle. Back of the napkin math, I think that's almost 60%, which is a pretty significant increase. I want to find some neighbors, so I'm going to click on View Neighborhood Sales. And in my neighborhood, I'm going to see that I've got some folks all around me that have sold in recent times. And I actually came into here, and this is my house. This is my street. I said, I'll take this one, and add that. Let me see, I got to add it. I'm going to add a comp for that one. I'm going to find this one. I'm going to add a comp for that one. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to add a comp for this one. And one thing I noticed whenever I first popped into this is a new format for finding the comps in the Douglas County website, is that there's an unadjusted price of $687,000. That is actually how much that home traded for on November 19th of 2021. Going into why that adjusted amount is $766,000, we're going to save for another day. It's not relevant to my appeal. It's not relevant to anything that I can think of at the moment, where they pulled this number from. But these are all three sales that happened during the window, coincidentally, from 21 to 22, when the assessor was going to be doing their thing. So now that I've got those, I pulled those out. There's actually a report there. Where's that? So save comparables to PDF. I saved the comparables to PDF, so now I got that document. The next step for once I have that is I'm going to hop over here to do some math. And this is the sheet that I downloaded. What I noticed right away was I'm looking at my subject property, which is me on the left-hand column. Subject is me. Comp 1, 2, 3 are the other three homes that I selected on my street. I got a 2-story of 1,600 square feet. I got a 2-story of 1,800 square feet, and I have a ranch 1-story of 2,337 square feet, which is it's a pretty coincidental match, but not really, because my home was built by the same builder that built the ranch down on the corner. I did a lot of scribbling and ciphering to figure out what the best path of approach was, and I decided that what I should do was look at Zillow first. For Zillow during the period, I noted a couple of things. The low during the period from June 21 to June 22 was $570,000 was the Zestimate amount from my house. The high was $680,000. And I did that by going into the home values. I found the graph. You can move the pointer up and side to side on the graph, and it will show you on individual months how much that value was at that point in time. Well, you can see that during the period of time, not only did the values shoot way up probably twice, they also came down twice. So my average during that 1 year window is $602,000. So I took that in and stored that in my pea brain. Next thing I did was I just popped open a spreadsheet, turn my camera off for just a moment. So I came up with a simple spreadsheet just based on above grade square footage. And the reason I choose above grade square footage is because everybody's basement is not created equal. The living space in Colorado is majority of the time above grade. If you have a ranch walkout where the builder was a custom builder and they built the bottom to the exact same finish level as the top floor, then your mileage is going to vary. You've got a good finish downstairs as well as you have upstairs. I've got above grade square footages from 294 to 393 dollars per foot. Well, the basement square footage in these homes is worth about $55 a foot. It's really not anything. The fact that I had no basement finish and all my neighbors have basement finish, I didn't even really anticipate or want to flog the assessor for that. But it is the case. So I'm throwing them a bone by not arguing about the basement finish. But so I did take the total value that they received at sale, divided by the square feet above grade, and I came up with these above ground dollars per foot numbers. Comp one, God bless my neighbors, they bought absolutely at the top of the market. It's the smallest house. It's $100 above square foot above where it should be for that house. It's not all that. If I just throw out the bottom and throw out the top, that puts me at $319 a square foot, and that's a pretty hefty number. The way the valuations work when you go to actual sale market, not whenever you're making up imaginary numbers to scrape your constituents hard, is that really small places will typically have a very high square foot cost because you have all of the basics that have the expense, all the overhead of a house. The more square footage you add in a footprint, the more economical you can create those square feet. So it's normal for the larger home. In this case, the largest home above grade is 2337 square feet. It is at $294 a square foot. That is only 200 square feet more than my house. So I'm saying that, look, they've got 1,600 foot of basement finish that encompasses this sale price that I do not have 1,600 feet of basement finish. I have 2,000 feet of empty basement, just like they had 2,300 square feet of empty basement. So throwing the assessor a bone again, I say I'll embrace 294 as my absolute, the least hostile number that they could come up with for a sale comparison. And I'm using air finger quotes right now for a sale comparison, not this mythical number that adjusted over time number where they adjusted over time going up. They didn't really adjust over time going down, because if you take the card that the assessor sends us, let me turn my camera back on for a second. When we take the card that the assessor sends us, they say, well, put the value in here where you were on June 30th. Looking at the Zillow time frame, June 30th is up in here just to the left of the orange. That sucker was coming down for 2 months, 3 months before, and it went down for a month after, and then it took another leg down 2 months after that. So they're expecting that I'm going to give them, oh yeah, my value was $675,000 according to the Zillow curve on June of 2022. The fact is that the average is 600 grand. That's about what the house is worth. That's if I put it on the market today. I'm not going to expect a great deal more of that because of the environment that these folks in government have created for us. So enough of that grumbling and grousing. The basic steps are I'm going to find my property. I'm going to see what they're looking at, comparable sales, not imaginary future projected sales from other places farther away from me, just the sales on my street, because I am range bound by my street. If somebody builds a 2,100 square foot ranch across town and they put different finishes in it, they could come up with 700,000, 800,000. That's not my neighborhood. It's not my range binding that really matters. So that's where I'm coming up with my valuations based on a house that was built by the same builder that I am built by at the same time frame with the same finish levels. And I'm saying, okay, the least hostile of the most relevant properties, I'm looking at $624,000 for assessment, not $690,000. And I believe that my fair assessment value is actually $602,000, which is the average across that range as we were going up and down, not some arbitrary most favorable for the assessor's time. So I'm going to launch this letter off to the assessor's office under separate cover from writing $602,000 on this card to mail back to the assessor's office. And I'll let you know what happens. I'm Ed Hooks Jr. I hope you're having an amazing day. If there's anything in the world I can do for you, please reach out by phone or email or smoke signal, and I'll do what I can to help you through this.